What's up, New Pure Fiction? This one actually looks pretty nice. You get 100% AA on Grit. It's triggered by skill. You have Memo's Right Shield, you have DOT Shield, and you have Skill Damage Shield. So overall, pretty flexible mechanics, all things considered. Let's get into it. I think HSR is in a pretty interesting state at the moment. And this PF clear is going to be pretty brainless, so I might as well just talk about my feelings about HSR. Because I actually do really like the game, if that wasn't obvious. One thing I've seen is sometimes people just get burnout from the game, and while part of it is obviously because of the usual complaints of, you know, oh, there's no events and all that, which is perfectly valid for the record, I think it does extend to something a bit deeper as well. And that's just in the variety you have. Pretty much all content except like Divergent Universe is pretty much just time attack, kill thing as fast as you can, otherwise you lose. And that's one thing which gets exacerbated by just how units are in this game. Because if you notice, especially starting towards like 2.x, and especially now with 3.x units in Enforius, you tend to get units that are built more with a set composition in mind. So like, for example, with Eidolons, who is one of the more recent egregious examples, she's basically dead weight without Kafka, and the same goes vice versa. And if you have Aglaya, well then you really want Sunday, right? And if you don't have Sunday, you're gonna be in for a world of hurt because you really, really want that recharge. And the same thing applies with like Woho, etc. And there's at least some exceptions, I think, with like units like Anoxa, who is gorgeous, extremely flexible, and even like Acheron, who can pick and choose between like Jiaoqiu, Silverwolf, Cypher, Eidolons. But it does feel like those are becoming less of the norm and more of the exception to the rule, if that makes sense. And something that I feel compounds this idea of a lack of variety is just the fact that pretty much every single unit in this game is becoming more and more of an investment. And I don't just mean this from like a cost standpoint of gacha, although of course that's a part of it, but also if you're like getting a unit, like with the aforementioned Eidolons, you're basically forced to get their archetype to make them work. So on top of gacha, you have the time investment of getting those other characters to a usable state, traces, relics, etc. It's not something you can just automatically load up, it's something you have to consciously just go through. Otherwise, you're not gonna have anything. Compare this to like, I don't know, something a little bit stupid, like Pokemon Showdown, or even the mainline Pokemon games, because you have like team rental codes. You've had that since Sword and Shield now, I think. Where it's very easy to just pick up a team, try it out, and boom bada bing. You kind of have a bunch of shit to try out. But that's not really the case in HSR, because, you know, you're not afforded that kind of freedom. Everything's an investment, you have to build it, otherwise it just doesn't work. I think it's part of why people like combat events a lot. Because outside of being able to see how a unit performs, you also just get to test on various comps that you otherwise, I'd say, don't have access to, but that's kind of a that's kind of a bad way to put it, because you always have access to these comps. It's just, of course, a matter of probability / credit card. But yeah, pretty much units are no longer an individual investment, and the stuff to make them work or to try out anything new just keeps getting excessively higher as numbers keep on climbing up with numbers or enemy mechanics, and there's not really a way you can work around that. Like, just look at Sunday and how many teams he's up, how many 3.x DPS want him. You're kind of shit out of luck without him at this point. So it just kind of creates an interesting conundrum, I think. I don't think it's something unsolvable for the record, but it does present an interesting problem. Just like, you know, this clear, which is honestly exceptionally scuffed for E2 Phainon. But it's probably more my skill issue than anything. And look at that, we have like a whole other ult, who cares? It's a fucking destruction unit. This is just erudition in disguise. Oh, look at that. We're back into grit. Oh, wow. That did fucking kill? Huh. Alright. Oh, dramatic finish. Let's go. Alright, note 2. It's Herta time. You know, world's most unexpected team comp, says guy who has no fucking casterus. Fucking awesome. Oh, thank God they have these guys. Oh, this is the freest energy of all time. Oh, this is so free. Like, genuinely beyond free. I'm gonna fucking take this shit and run with it. Alright, oh. I honestly thought I was gonna, like, fill up ults. We'll save ults here so we can spam trippy follow-up attack. Yeah, here we go. I think this brings us into grid. But we're not gonna pop enhanced skill just yet. Because I think we can get more if we just try and spam mini Herta bullshit. To try and push into... Yeah, I think we... Yeah, we could... Probably? I'm not sure. Let's find out. Or maybe take it off. Let's find out if we can actually push into wave 2. Oh, we can! Okay, there we go. Enhanced skill wave 2. Or pulp tribute ult here, even though we don't get any AA. It's because we can probably charge it back up really fast. Oh yeah. Sorry, what I was saying? Right. I do think an interesting side effect is something is like Cerydra recently. Because a lot of comments surrounding Cerydra are just how niche it feels. And I do think this is partially just an inevitability with age. Especially with a game that has relatively simple core mechanics like HSR. When it comes to a matter of differentiation, at some point, you're gonna have to bite the bullet and make units that feel samey. You know, again, kinda like Pokemon. Where, yeah, every Pokemon is different, but ultimately you're gonna end up with a lot of archetypes that perform relatively similar. Like, oh, here's the glass cannon, here's the tank. Just look at the fucking water type roster for Pokemon and tell me all of them are noticeably or even just like satisfactorily different to each other. At some point, a lot of them blend together, and that's just something inevitable as you get more units in the game. Niches get taken, and so to make a unit feel unique, you have to go a little bit deeper into those niche spaces. Of course, again, especially with what I was saying earlier regarding just how units feel nowadays with set comps and all, I think compared, again, to something like Pokemon for kind of a bad example, but whatever, it feels a lot more driven by the devs in this case because, you know, obviously, it's a gacha game, it's a live service game, they want you to buy into a specific composition, so they have a way to sell new units. And that's at a certain point, I wonder how much is left of that idea of strategy. Because why would you worry about using weakness break to try and keep yourself alive when you could just, you know... Oh, this one was really cool. When you could just, like, pull Hyacinth, and that would probably fix your problems faster. It's not like creativity has reached an end, either for players or for the devs. there's certainly still ways to expand. But I do think we are starting to reach a point where things are just starting to blur a little together here and there. Kits have been overloaded since like 2.0, I think, or with self buffs and just how they work. So I think it's gonna be a very tough battle as things go on. But hey, I haven't lost hope, and the game's still fun. But I do think going forward, it shouldn't be surprising for us to just see more and more niche units like Cerydra. Just because that's gonna be one of the last spaces left to expand into unit design-wise. So it's gonna be interesting seeing how the next planet plays out, whatever that is. Low-key hoping it's out of Star, though. Could use some Space Japan in here. Anyway, that's pure fiction. Probably the most basic mode in the game. Yay! We killed the mobs! Alright, I'm gonna show the builds, and that's all. Alright, bye!